Photoshop Project 4 City Promotion Card Stage 5 working in 3D. This is working in actual 3D. Photoshop will accept files from 3D applications like Maya or 3D Studio Max. We are going to be just scratching the surface of what you can do in 3D, but we are going to now create this as a 3D postcard. Photoshop can open existing 3D files from other applications and 3D objects as new 3D Photoshop layers. You can also use built-in functionality to create some 3D objects from scratch. We're going to create a new 3D object from the built-in preset postcard. Before you begin, I want you to go to Edit Preferences and check Performance. You should have your graphics card displayed. Make sure you have Use Graphics Processor selected. If you cannot select that, if it's grayed out and you can't click in there to select it, then your video card will not support OpenGL. If you can't use OpenGL, your 3D options are limited. Your processes will be performed, if possible, by Photoshop instead of the video card. May or may not be able to do this. You will just simply have to let me know at what point you got stuck. Say OK to that. And we're going to duplicate the Rochambeau layer. Just drag it down to the new layer, which is a nice way of duplicating this. Hide the original layer and change the name of Rochambeau copy to Rochambeau 3D, just so that we know which layer is which. We want to hide our ruler guides because they're going to get a little bit confusing if we are looking at those when we bring up our 3D mesh. So let's go to Show and turn off your guides. They're still there. You can bring them back at any point. We should have the Rochambeau layer selected and go to 3D, New Mesh, from Layer, and select Postcard. Would you like to switch to the 3D workspace? Please select Yes. That's going to bring up all new menus for you. You will get the Properties panel for the 3D, and you will also get the 3D panel open. Briefly go back to the Layers panel, and you can look at the Rochambeau 3D layer, and you will see that there is a new Layer Thumbnail Edition. It has a nice little 3D object on it. You might want to save at this point before anything blows up. It's a good place to come back to. Open the menu in the Secondary View panel and choose Default Camera. That's the same view that we see in the main document window. This is a nice panel for viewing other aspects of a 3D object without affecting what appears on the canvas. You can swap views between main and secondary, and we're not actually going to be using this right now, so we can hide this. We're going to close it by closing View. In the 3D panel, select Current View. In the document window, click the 3D ground plane and drag it to reposition it. Do you see how you can change this? The red line represents the x-axis, the blue line is the z-axis, so it's front and back. The 3D object moves along the ground plane. Rotating the ground plane is like moving a camera. So you're changing the view. You see how it moves? We want to change back to our default view now, and that's going to put everything back the way it was. changing this is non-destructive, so we can go back and forth and go back to default at any time. So we can maneuver that object as much as we want to, and it will not make a permanent change. In the 3D panel, click the Rochambeau 3D mesh. We actually could click on the mesh on the canvas to select the object. In the Properties panel, select the Coordinates button to show the numeric positions of the mesh. We're now going to see the 3D Axis widget. We can click the Rotate Around Y-axis, which is going to be the red, and drag right to rotate. Oh, let's see, I didn't get on it. There it is. Should be able to rotate it from there, and I'm not. So let me rotate from down here. I can rotate here. I can rotate around. I can place my cursor over the center cube, shift, and drag up. Come on, shift, drag up. And that should enlarge. I think I've got, oh, there we go. That's going to enlarge my image. This is going to move it over. This one's going to drag it. I should be able to drag it back. If I select the green, okay, here's my rotations. There's my enlargement. It just depends on how you click, what you're going to select. I'm going to go back in, and I am going to go back to my current view, and I am going to click my Reset Coordinates to put everything back to where it should be. Okay, I just reset mine back pretty much to where it was after hauling all this stuff around. So I'm going to go back in now, and I've got my coordinates panel showing, and I am going to select the Y-axis and drag right to rotate the mesh. And actually what I'm doing right now is I just scaled. I need to get on the rotate. There it is. And I should be able to rotate this along the x-axis. Let me get, there's my rotate. No. That's move, rotate. There it is. So I should drag right to rotate. You have to be a little bit careful on which item you're going to select. I'm going to get the center cube and drag up a little bit with my shift key. Oh, and there I lost it again. Scale. Dragging up, and I'm not using my shift, I'm just dragging up to scale. A little bit larger. On the blue, I want to find to rotate, there it is, and I'm going to drag up to rotate a little bit that way. Picking up the move on x-axis control, I'm going to drag until the right edge is off. Well, mine's already off, but there, if it wasn't, it's already off. Now, at the bottom of the Properties panel, I need to render this. The rendering process can take a long time depending on the power of your computer processor. The status button is going to show you the time remaining to complete the rendering process. As you can see, my file has completed the rendering. I now have a flat image again. At this point, I want to save my file and I already saved it, and I've completed this section of working in 3D.